So, I thought it would be fun to make a Halloween themed video before this month ends. I recently rewatched the Halloween franchise and I thought, why not rank them? This list is based on a mixture of favoritism and how the movies are objectively. Well, if I'm watching a video, of course, hopefully you like my takes and my order of each movie. Cause dog, it was quite an experience rewatching these movies. Also, it was pretty fun challenging myself not to purely go off of what I favor more than the other. But all right, enough rambling. It's time to get to the list. I'm not watching this one. Skip.
Huh?
Okay, joking. I did watch this movie, well, about 5 minutes of it, but I did fully watch this movie a while ago, so I'll just go from memory, because like, when I was watching this movie, I tried, damn it. When I saw this part right here, I cut the movie off and was like, I'm good. Like, I'm not calling this movie bad. I know the franchise was originally supposed to be an anthology type series like Tales of the Crypt, Creep Show, or Goosebumps type stuff. It's just that this may sound funny, but even as a little kid, this movie triggered me because I wanted some Michael Myers action, not snakes and roaches crawling out of people's mouths wearing a cursed mask. I do respect this movie and all, but this wasn't it. Like, I'm super glad and grateful they went back to the roots, but this movie's dead last, mainly because of the fact that there's no Michael Myers in it. This movie is interesting in a good and bad way. This is a pretty ambitious movie, so I can't get mad at it. The quality, the soundtrack, characters, decisions made to progress the story, and the ending were more or less 50-50 to me. Jamie and Michael Myers were sadly a bummer. Like, Jamie had it bad, just for this movie to do her even more dirty. Seeing her pop a baby, escape captivity, run for her life again, seemingly get unalived to find out she actually survived basically at 1 HP to get transferred to safety to a hospital. Just for her to get popped in the head while sleeping, like, gosh darn. Michael Myers low-key was like a henchman trying to free himself from the establishment he was in. He had a mixture of lame and decent kills. The Curse of Thorn stuff wasn't bad because it was an okay reason why he's been doing the stuff he's been doing. Oh yeah, seeing Ant-Man go out his way to save Jamie's baby, taking on a cult, and saving the day. Oh shit, I meant to say Tommy, but yeah. His awkward demeanor made sense because that was a traumatizing night in the first movie. Overall, I'm 50-50 for this movie, but I assume a future rewatch would probably be a better experience. Okay, so this movie was originally higher. Like, when I say higher, I mean it. But this list isn't purely favoritism based. This may seem shocking, but I actually always liked this movie. Not trying to say this is a good movie because it is not a good movie. It's because I watched this movie many times growing up. It's simply an entertaining watch over the good, the bad.
Oh, shit. Thank you. Sweet release.
The goofy. The surprisingly interesting aspects, and debatably one of the best scenes of the franchise, and etc. To be blunt, I had to put this movie here because this is an objectively disrespectful continuation. It starts off with taking out Laurie like that. Michael fucking Myers getting treated like a literal joke and getting beat up by Busta Rhymes Kung Fu. Wait, I don't want to call it that. What should I call it? What do I call it? Oh, I got it. Not Kung Fu, Busta Fu. Yeah. Busta Fu. He got beat up by Busta Rhymes Busta Fu and other scenes of the movie. So I'll safely put it here because, like, even though I like this movie, it is a bad movie objectively. So yeah. Okay, so I don't truly like this movie like at all, but I gotta give this movie its credit. Like, in comparison to Resurrection, this movie is actually telling a story. Laurie dealing with her PTSD and her reaction to find out she's Michael Myers' sister was honestly a really good aspect of the movie. The part when the sheriff pulled up to his home witnessing his deceased daughter was very heart-touching, like a wombo combo hit to the feels, man. With Brad Dourif's performance of his mourning, the music playing, and the flashbacks of his daughter Annie was quite a sad moment. The movie showing Michael Myers with his mask off for a chunk of the movie was a buzzkill, but I let that slide because, you know, he's a wanted man. I wasn't truly into Dr. Loomis' little villain arc taking advantage of Haddonfield's massacre and the White Horse stuff and yada yada, but like, I really like this movie, so but I'm giving this credit, so like, who gives a shit? Next. Okay. So I'm all into edginess, director's visions, and I did like how there was a build-up for Michael Myers' slaughtering spree, but oh my commie, at the 1 hour mark, I paused the movie and said, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. Like, bruh, what the F? The wild stuff that was being said in Michael Myers' household, that grape scene, I don't remember seeing. And when the machete janitor guy, yes, I said machete. Anyways, when he said, I was good to you, Mikey, don't do this. I was good to you since you were a little kid. Don't do this to me, Mikey. Before he got unalive, caught me right the heck off guard. No hate, by the way, just that. Damn, what the heck? That was wild. But after the 1 hour mark, the movie was honestly pretty solid for what it was. The soundtrack quality and certain additional scenes added to the parts that were in the movie that were pretty much like a reenactment of the original movie were pretty good and interesting. The kills and the tension-filled moments were definitely not a yawn. A lot of the characters weren't likable, like, at all, but there were some characters I messed with, like the janitor guy, obviously. Laurie's adopted parents, and speaking of Laurie was honestly but Tommy and Lindsay were okay. And Dr. Loomis was a very good character. I really like how he displayed he truly wanted to help and felt bad for feeling like he failed Michael. It's a blasted shame he became a dick in the sequel, but anyways, overall, I don't hate this wild movie. It definitely has an edge above its sequel, especially since it has more Michael action. And as funny as this sounds, this movie is pretty tame in comparison to the sequel, so yeah. To be honest, I wasn't too disappointed in this movie, but I also wasn't a big fan of the route this finale went towards too. But then again, that event of 2020 affected this movie's original plot, but it's fine. This movie taking place 3 years later and displaying how the main characters and Haddonfield as a whole was dealing with things after, what happened in Halloween Ends is a good touch to the movie. The epic final battle and that very satisfying ending of this movie is a massive thumbs up, especially since this is literally the only Halloween movie that actually has a legit ending, also having the main character be at peace. I really messed with that. This movie would have been higher, but Michael Myers being sidelined for a majority of the runtime brought this movie down. Also, those Stephen King It the Clown movie bullies and a-holes and weird supernatural things did throw me off. I didn't dislike it, it just threw me off, Overall, I have my nitpicks and gripes, but I'm glad this movie had its conclusion. Now, this movie edges out Halloween Ends to me simply because it has more legit Michael Myers action. There were also mystery parts that had you thinking. There were more attention-grabbing scenes, and I didn't mind the Jamie and Michael Myers telepathic connection, mainly because of the way Halloween 4 ended. Rachel getting axed off was a bummer, but it was cool having her homegirl Tina basically step into her shoes. Even though Dr. Loomis was wildin', he was high-key kind of hype. He was actually more level-headed and tactical. I swear, man's like the damn crocodile hunter when he caught Michael Myers in that trap. The car chase scene was a really good part of the movie. Not just the movie, the franchise as a whole. That was a really good part right there. Oh, something I gotta mention is Michael Myers being dramatically toned down was a bummer, but what balanced it out was he was very petty. Like, this man was deceiving people, and like the way he like took out characters and killed them were like petty to me. Also, his mask. Oh my god, his mask. His mask looked ugly as shit, but I don't even think tucking it in would have helped out, but I'm just glad he was petty, and the way he killed people was petty, so that balanced everything out. And the mystery with the symbol and the ending cliffhanger wasn't bad, especially if you don't think about the follow-up movie. So there's no other way for me to sugarcoat this, but I really like this movie. This was hella fun to watch for obvious reasons. The Michael Myers action was displayed to the fullest, and I'm all for that. I liked how this movie brought in the OGs from the very first movie and tied in the minor characters from the previous movie, and that was pretty cool to see. This movie also had some unintentionally funny moments that I assume were meant to be sad, but I chuckled at them. I chuckled at them. To not overglaze this movie, a big negative for this movie and why it's not higher is simply because this movie has a lot, and I mean a lot, of stupid moments and scenes, and there's a lot of stupid shit in this movie, and that had to, it had to get brung down because of that. Another thing that really isn't really a biggie, but just like I said for Halloween Ends, that event that happened in 2020 messed over this movie's original ending. I want to put this movie higher, but the major negatives bring this movie down. I like how this movie starts off with that Mr. Sandman song, and it began with that episodic style of a recap, and also when a neighbor told Dr. Loomis that he's trick-or-treated to death, and Dr. Loomis responded with, "You don't know what death is," and then the theme song kicked in. That was a great way to start this movie. Honestly, this movie would have been ranked higher, but to keep it a buck, they were trying way too hard when it came to suspense and jump scares. There were jump scare scenes in very odd parts, and the screechy soundbite used was not it. The updated theme song isn't bad at all, but I felt they should have put a more toned down version of that theme song for the suspenseful scenes. I was still enjoying the movie regardless, but I wasn't feeling the tension like at all. The hospital setting and the reveal of Laurie and Michael being siblings was a pretty cool part of the movie and setting of the movie. The characters who weren't Laurie, Loomis, and Michael were honestly, they were Michael being stronger, more resilient, and tanky in this movie compared to the first movie was very cool to see. Loomis was understandably wilding out. His noble sacrifice at the end of the movie was cool. Laurie being a badass at the end of this movie was very dope to see. Overall, I like this movie. I honestly just wish it had more of that scary feel to it, if that makes sense. This movie was a massive improvement after Halloween 2. The overall visual quality, the more smoother score, and the added echo in the theme song was very good. Even though Laurie did get killed off camera, having her daughter Jamie as the new lead wasn't a bad choice. The part when she was getting bullied by them kids was wild to see, cause them little kids had no filter. I'm glad she was written to be an emotionally strong character. Rachel was clutch, and I liked the bond between her and Jamie. I honestly was surprised Loomis survived, but I am even more surprised that the people he keeps warning about Michael doesn't take him seriously. Oh, speaking of Michael Myers, Mans was doing his thing when he amped up his hands-on approach with gnarly kills, stealth, and strategic ways of unaliving people, and etc, etc, etc. Like, Michael was doing his thing in this movie. One of the best tension-filled parts of the movie was when that group of people who were wearing Michael Myers costumes popped up. I say that because potentially they could have been a very sadistic, there you go, a sadistic group wanting to try to reenact what happened 10 years ago in the first movie. The vigilante rednecks were questionably goofy, but when they displayed why they're ready to fight so fast, it made perfect sense because they're part of what happened 10 years ago in the first movie. I thought that was a pretty good element of the movie. The ending was shockingly good. Like, I didn't expect that ending, and that was a good way to end the movie. The number of theories you can come up with really amped up the ending. Overall, the ending was good. The movie was good. Like, this movie was just good, man. The movie would have been higher, but in comparison to the top 3 I have above, as a movie, they're just honestly just better in this one. Okay, so for the top 3 is very hard to decide. Because for one, the best I could do if I were like have one above the other is by nitpicking. And the thing is, those nitpicks are irrelevant. Like think about it. The best I can say for Halloween 1978 is like when Michael Myers kills people, it's like the way they act when they get, you know what I'm saying? When they get unalived by him, it's like, it's kind of goofy and it's like, it doesn't look all that real. You know what I'm saying? Like that take is irrelevant. Halloween H2O, the best I can think of for that movie is like, remember the part of the movie when it showed that Scream movie? That Scream movie that was in the movie showed the Halloween 1978 movie in it. So it's like, that's irrelevant, you know what I mean? Halloween 2018, the best I can think of for that movie is like, if Laurie was so scared and worried and then traumatized while she's still living in Haddonfield, and it's like, that's irrelevant too, because like, you know what I'm saying? We're all humans. We all take in trauma different ways and all that good stuff. It was like, I couldn't really think of how to do this. So the best I could do is rank them, but at the same time, it's interchangeable. If I were to get asked the top 3, it'll be a whole different order. So right now, currently, this is my top 3. Number 3, the OG, the classic, the first one, Halloween 1978. It's a solid movie, straight to the point. It's just a solid movie, you know? For number 2, I'm gonna give it to Halloween 2018. This movie is also a solid movie. And what would have boosted this movie even more if, like, the ending, if that ending was like, if it ended right there, solid movie, chef's kiss. And then for number 1, Halloween H2O, 20 years later. Dog, this movie is so freaking hype, okay? Like, you understand, this movie is so freaking, like, dope. A little funny story. When I was little, right, I used to be scared of, like, a lot of stuff, and Michael Myers was one of them. But when I saw H2O as a little kid, dog, I went from having, like, little, you know what I'm saying, little nightmares and fears at night to having dreams of me fighting Michael Myers. Michael Myers and H2O is so cool, and the way they did the movie between Laurie and him and overall the whole movie as a whole was just good, you know? So yeah, there goes my top 3. It's very interchangeable. The next day, next week, next month, next year, it'll be a whole different order. So yeah. So gotta wrap this video up. Hope you like my takes on each movie. Hope you like the order of each movie. And my apologies for my top 3. I couldn't really think of like how to like legit have each one. I had to make it interchangeable. So yeah, hope you like my takes, the video. If you like the video, you know what I'm saying, like the video, subscribe to the channel, you know, keep up with the videos. And if you're curious about my channel, check out the channel. I have a variety of videos uploaded, and I'm rimming at this point. And yeah, so have a good one, and that's the video.